Hey traders, let's take a moment to thank and feature one of our top sponsors, FX2 Funding. If you're looking to get funded, listen up. FX2 is offering traders the chance to trade with up to $200,000 in simulated capital and receive up to 85% of their results. If you're interested in getting started, use the link being dropped in the chat or the link down in the description below. If you pass the evaluation, you'll receive your feedback and gain access to your new account. FX2 allows traders access to a wide range of assets and allows traders to hold their trades over the weekend. FX2 is giving A1 Trading Show fans 15% off the evaluation fee if you use promo code A1Trading15. So if you'd like to learn more, again, use the link being dropped in the chat or the link down in the description below and use code A1Trading15 at checkout for a discount on any of their evaluations. Now back to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream, and I hope everybody's doing well. We are getting ready here for another October-themed spooky stream. We're going into PPI and core PPI numbers. These are, of course, inflationary metrics that are really important to the market. This is the Producer Price Index, and if you haven't seen, or if you're newer to the fundamental side, the Producer Price Index gives us an insight into what producers along the supply line, what their prices are looking like. So this can be kind of a look ahead at inflation in some ways, because it's inflation that's up the chain. So by the time you get something on the shelf at the grocery store, there's been trucks that have delivered it, manufacturing plants, packaging, so many things to get it to your pantry ultimately. And so along the way, if prices in the supply line and producers that are charging them are going up, that can actually be a sign of inflation. So this morning, we are here to watch the numbers. We're going to watch and react to the Producer Price Index numbers. The forecast here, month over month, is expected to be 0.3% for headline Producer Price Index. And of course, the core PPI, this is just excluding certain areas of the market to look at a more concentrated look, is expected to be 0.2%. All that to say, what is this going to move? And for you guys, what markets, what charts are going to make dramatic movements in this period? Well, remember, as always with news is only as dramatic as it is shocking. If there's a number that comes out and it's much higher or much lower than what is to be expected here, that's how you're going to get a shock. And that's why even sometimes when you don't have red folders, you can have a yellow folder. And if it's shocking enough, it can move the markets dramatically. Anyways, what are we looking at? What are we taking a look at this morning? Someone asked, am I still long dollar yen? Nope. I took profits on dollar yen yesterday. Intraday, I took a small profit on this one just ahead of PPI numbers and CPI numbers to come tomorrow. We also have the Fed meeting. I'm just keeping a cautious look at this one. So yesterday, we saw prices make a nice push to the upside. And then what I did is, as it started to kind of fall back, I went ahead and just closed my trade. I didn't like the fact that we were putting in possibly another lower high ahead of PPI numbers. So I'm on the sidelines with that. In terms of trades that I am in, currently I am long on things like the Dow. I've got a nice trade running on this through my options trades. So that is going really well. And, we'll see if that one can continue to push higher. Again, the US 30 Dow chart doing well here, and I am still bullish on that. That is more of a swing trade, longer term perspective. From a momentum trade, I don't have any indices trades open. So I am watching, however, to see how things react to today's Producer Price Index number. Will it give us the juice here, the gas, to potentially break through the 15,250 level? That's going to be interesting to watch for. If it does break out, if we get inflationary numbers and statistics that seem like we may actually get some cooling numbers, that's going to probably be what causes the indices to rise higher. And conversely, if we get hot inflationary statistics from the Producer Price Index here in the next 10 minutes, we could probably see gold, the NASDAQ, et cetera, make a move lower because the dollar would likely strengthen. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some charts on a technical basis. And let's start with the dollar index. So if I go to the dollar index here, we take a look at DXY. The dollar index is sitting at support. So this is a 4-hour chart view, by the way. So we're taking a look at the 4-hour chart, and we've been in this kind of short-term downward trend going on. But the problem here is basically we see price pushing lower into a level of support, but we still have a lot of TBD, right? We have the inflationary number here this morning, which might give us a little bit of clarity. So what I mean by that is that if the producer price index this morning comes out cooler than expected, meaning inflation is continuing to go down, which would be, again, kind of good for market sentiment, but bad for the dollar. If we get that scenario, it's possible that we get the breakout that we've been looking for. So I'm going to drop it down to the 1-hour chart here. And what you can see is we wicked off the bottom here around this 105.67 level. The big thing for me is to see if we can actually break underneath lows on perhaps the PPI or CPI numbers that we're watching for today. Now, again, CPI is tomorrow, but producer price index is still a very valuable piece of information. That's why a lot of people are showing up to the stream today. You guys know, if you're a regular viewer, we got 450 people in here. By the way, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. All that good YouTube stuff does help to support the stream. What we're watching for here, guys, in the dollar index would be a breakout on cooling CPI and PPI numbers. If that happens, the dollar actually may start to look bearish. But still, we have to give credit to the dollar bulls. The US economy has stayed really strong despite everything going on, which has continued to be an inflationary issue, right? A strong economy is usually, by its very nature, prices are going to kind of rise. So if we see today's number be hot, there may be renewed bullishness for the dollar. So if you're sitting there and you said, well, Nick, you just covered your bases. You said it can go up and it could go down. You would be right. I'm waiting for the number to see. However, I will give you my bias. Slight bias for me is I think numbers could start to cool further. And that is kind of what is somewhat to be expected. But if we get cooling numbers, that would be kind of the crux to this dollar bullish daily chart if we get cooling inflationary numbers. So my opinion and my bias is going to be bearish on inflationary numbers for the dollar, but it's not a guarantee, and numbers can come out surprising, as they did with NFP last week. So we're not going to just assume, oh yeah, it's going to go down, right? It would be foolish for somebody to say, oh, gold is certainly going to go up. Gold is certainly going to go down. Nobody knows what the statistics are going to be before they're released. And if they do, they're definitely not on the retail trading level. It may be, who knows? We could speculate all day long, but this is not a conspiracy theory show, right? We're here just trading what we're seeing and doing the best with what we can do. Anyways, let's talk a little about gold in all of this. Gold is making a move higher, but I want to caution anybody who is incredibly bullish on gold, because gold is nearing what I would say is a pretty strong area of resistance. So if we do get some numbers here today that poke gold higher, what would that be? Well, it would be probably cooling inflationary numbers that would weaken the dollar and possibly give gold a little bit of a leg higher. Now, I'll give you my honest position here. If we make a push up higher, I am going to be short biased on gold, as I believe this is about a 50% retracement from the highs. Let me see if I'm right about that. Yeah, so a 50% retracement comes into play right around 1880. I think that if gold spikes up higher here today, there could be a little bit of a short bias that could come into play. Now, this is kind of a daily chart level. Really, this 50 to 61.8% retracement zone could be interesting to watch out for possible sellers in this area. Now, again, this is a trade idea, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I think that gold has more bearish incentives than it does bullish. So let's just say, for example, that gold pops up into that 50% retracement. I'm going to watch for the dust to settle. I'm not just going to short it on the spike because, again, it could be very sporadic. So I'm going to watch to see what the numbers come out to be, which, by the way, time count, we got about 6 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go here until we get the numbers. A pop here to the upside. Again, we've got CPI coming tomorrow. So even if we do get a pop, my opinion would be most likely, if you do get a pop, is probably not going to sustain itself too long. That's my honest opinion. Again, when I'm telling you guys this, I can be totally wrong. And a lot of times I have to kind of warn that, because new traders think that, again, I've said this many times, new traders often overestimate the ability of somebody who's been trading for a long time and who is quote unquote a professional trader. We are not market wizard forecasters, right? We don't know what the market's going to do. Certainly, it's all about risk to reward, and it's all about probabilities. My opinion, you take a look at gold. I have a generally more bearish reading on gold from the stuff that I pay attention to. And I'll go through that real quick. So we're getting a -6 score. COT data. Big money has a really big bearish bet going on recently on the gold market. And that's also coupled with strong dollar bullishness on the smart money tracker. So I want to show you, when I'm saying smart money tracker, I'm talking about the commitment of traders data and how we showcase it in the EDGEFINDER, which is our market software. So I want to show you this. So gold, big overall bullishness relative to bearishness. There is a bias here to the bullish side in terms of net positioning. But as of the most recent filing, we saw that shift. We saw a recent change be pretty negative for gold, meaning a pretty bearish move in smart money positioning. So that could mean letting go of long positions or increasing short positions. Regardless, the point is there was a bearish move in the gold market in terms of commitment of traders data. And if we take a look at the dollar, we have 75% of long to short ratio on institutional money. And we have a big increase in dollar bullishness. So in my opinion, as gold floats higher, I think the risk to reward becomes more in favor of a bearish reading. So again, we've got 3 minutes to go, guys. I'm watching gold this morning for a possible sell setup. We'll keep a close eye on that. There's 600 people in here. If you guys would do me a quick favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, click the notification bell, because we will be back tomorrow for CPI numbers. And I wouldn't want you guys to miss that. That one's going to be probably even more interesting here to the markets. So again, I'm watching for this idea. If I do take this, you guys will see it inside Discord. And with just a couple minutes to go, let me remind you guys two things. Here's something that you can join totally for free. We've got a Discord channel that you guys can join. There is a free Discord. Basically, let me show you this. So inside of the Discord, you can see all sorts of good stuff, trades that I'm taking, as well as daily analysis from Frank and I. We have a ton of cool stuff in here. So Frank's trading stuff. I know he's long in the S&P 500, which has been a really great trade for him. So if you guys would like updates from Frank and from me, the paid version will get you access to those. And then in the free version, you'll be able to see daily analysis. Here's how you join. It's free to join. And one person that joins this month is getting a free gold VIP membership, which is lifetime access to our group. But again, we're sharing tons of analysis in here all the time. So if you would like that, if that would be useful to you, then please click that link and join the Discord. We also have a Telegram channel as well. So feel free to take that. Jesse says, I swear the EDGEFINDER is great. If you don't have it, definitely need to get it. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate the testimonial, my friend. And I'm glad to hear it's helping you out. If you guys don't have a copy of the EDGEFINDER, you can message us on our website. Again, last link will drop for now. Click this link in the chat if you guys would like to chat with someone on our staff about getting yourself a copy of the EDGEFINDER. So we'll drop that link now. Yeah, by the way, when you do click that link, this is just what it looks like. You're going to speak to a real person. I have a staff full of people that can help you out with this. So if you'd like to, click that link, chat now, and then you can directly message someone on my team. Guys, we're about 1 minute out. Let's go ahead and set up our charts to watch the numbers. Let me go ahead and drop this to the 15-minute. We got gold top left, guys. Euro bottom left. We'll go, let's do the S&P 500 top right. See how things play out this morning. So we got Euro, gold, S&P, dollar index, all on the 15-minute chart with about 30 seconds to go. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to change out here? Got an indice. We got a currency pair. We got the dollar index. I think we're good. I think we are good. And again, we're coming into the numbers. Don't go anywhere after the numbers. We got breaking news right now. All right, we should see some movement here. S&P 500 initially down, the euro dollar down, gold coming down. Dollar index is up. that would perhaps suggest that inflationary numbers were hot. But again, it spiked very briefly. So let's go see what the numbers actually were. Okay, yes. So PPI numbers, both core and headline, were hotter than expected. 0.3% month over month for core and 0.5 compared to the 0.3% that was expected for month over month. So that would suggest that the dollar looks strong as inflationary pressures persist. So we did see the exact reaction you might expect, a pop in the dollar here. And that is really interesting considering, again, we go into CPI numbers tomorrow. And what this does is it calls into question, well, is tomorrow's CPI number, is that going to be also hotter than expected, which the market is not going to like, especially following strong jobs numbers last week. There was mild wage growth, which was good for the inflation story. But in terms of strictly inflationary pressures, if we get hot CPI and PPI this week followed or preceded by strong jobs numbers, it's a little bit concerning. Okay, so the dollar does seem to be rounding off the bottom here nicely. The question will be if the dollar index can follow through on this, because the initial number, like I said, out of PPI this morning was strong. And again, this is going to probably put some pressure on the indices. You can see they gave back some gains. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, the attention now turns to the CPI number. So again, yes, the dollar index made a move here, but I wouldn't necessarily say the dollar index is just going to scream higher for a day straight, because tomorrow everyone knows that we have CPI data to follow, which is really important to the market as well. So again, we'll keep an eye on this, but I think gold, if it does spike up here this morning, if we do get some price action to the upside, I will actually be more enticed now to be on the sell side if I can get that setup that I mentioned earlier. So I do like that 50% retracement. Stops probably above the 61.8. It's a little bit of a swing trade, but I will keep an eye on this one if it does want to shoot up here this morning. That's an idea that I'm going to be interested in potentially myself. So again, we got a nice bearish reading overall from this. Also, retail traders are starting to really pile into longs on gold, at least as of the latest data that we have here. We know if retail traders are really long on something, that can be a pretty strong bearish bias. And, flip side is that if retail traders are really short something, it can actually be bullish. That's not necessarily, I want to say something. A lot of times traders love to jump to conclusions with certain indicators and turn them into self-proclaimed holy grails. The thing about market data is that market data, it's really hard. There's no single indicator that just gives you the magical answer in terms of what the market is going to do next. If it was that easy, everybody would just be a millionaire, right? Really easy stuff. But that's not how markets work. So what we try and do with the EDGEFINDER is we try and combine lots of data, lots of key statistics and figures and economic data, and positioning from market participants. And we try to get a reading, a overall reading. So here's what the EDGEFINDER is currently at. If you guys want to see the top setups window, let's narrow it down here. We're going to just look at very bullish and very bearish readings currently on the EDGEFINDER. So things that are very bullish: dollar yen, CAD yen, Kiwi yen, Aussie yen, dollar Swiss. A lot of yen crosses here, getting pretty bullish readings on the EDGEFINDER. You flip it around: pound dollar, euro dollar, Aussie dollar, pound Kiwi, S&P, gold, pound CAD, Aussie, New Zealand. These are our bearish readings currently. So what this is telling you is that the algorithm, which pulls in all of this data at once, it's looking at all of these metrics, judging them, interpreting them, and punching out a bias for us in this column in the form of a score. That score then is generated into understandable human language, like very bullish, very bearish. So this is where I find all of my setups every single day. I use the EDGEFINDER. Someone actually got mad at me in the video, one of my videos recently. They were like, Nick, you use the EDGEFINDER in every video. And I was like, I responded to the comment. I said that I use the EDGEFINDER every day in my video because the EDGEFINDER is a true reflection of the strategical points that I look for in trades. So of course I'm going to use it in every video, and I genuinely use it as a utility to myself. It is something that is for sale, and I always try and stay transparent about that. It's a software tool that we've worked really hard, and we do sell copies. Again, you can pick up a copy on our website if you're interested in it, but I do genuinely use it for its utility. And I know a lot of people in the audience also watch my videos to try and, see what the EDGEFINDER has to say. I mean, even if you don't own it, it's still a very useful indicator to look at a lot of data at once. Can you check oil? Yeah, let's take a look at oil. And again, keep an eye on that gold market, guys. I'm going to watch it. Oil making a move lower here. No strong reading for me on the EDGEFINDER right now. So oil is going to be a pass. And yeah, how much does it cost to get a copy of the EDGEFINDER? Send us a direct message. We have different pricing options. It's not as easy as just a single price, because we have different options. We have different available tool features, things like that. So if you work with a representative on our website, someone from our team can hook you up with the right fit for you. We'll ask you some questions, figure out what you're looking for, what your trading style is. We try and take a personal approach with our users. So please message us, click that link, and you get to meet someone on my team. So yeah. Dow Jones. Yeah, let's look at US 30. So US 30 doesn't have a strong reading for me. What is really concerning for me is that the S&P 500 does have a bearish reading off of the EDGEFINDER, but the Dow, of course, the Dow and the S&P, they're going to move together almost all the time, right? They move very similarly. So if I'm looking at the Dow, we're sitting at a level of resistance and ahead of CPI numbers. There's just a big question mark on this. I made this point yesterday, but I would really like to see some cooling inflationary numbers to break us out of some of these resistance points. And by the way, a cooling inflation number would likely flip the EDGEFINDER's score pretty dramatically. So if I go to take a look at the indices for a second, here's the S&P 500, which is getting a -7 score on the system. So one of the big readers here is inflationary numbers. So inflationary numbers have been really red hot out of the US. Of course, we just had some more red hot numbers out of PPI, so that's not good. But the question now will be, if tomorrow's CPI numbers are cooler than expected, it's possible that we get some score flippage on the old EDGEFINDER S&P 500 reading. So for example, if we get a knockout cooler than expected inflationary number, which actually looks less likely after this PPI number, if that happens, it is very possible that we get a score reading change pretty dramatically. So if we get like a +3 tomorrow, I'm just as an idealist situation, if you're bullish, let's say we get a +3 number, meaning inflation cools dramatically, and that suddenly brings us from a -3 reading. That's actually a jump of 6 points, right? -3 all the way to +3. That would get us all the way over here. And then if the market starts trending higher, I made this point yesterday, we're trying to look ahead at what the EDGEFINDER could be reading into if we get certain statistics. Retail traders are probably going to go short the more this thing goes up, and they're going to go long the more this thing goes down. That is the nature of retail traders, generally speaking. That could also tip the scale and possibly give us another couple points. Trend reading flipping, if we start trending to the upside and we persist, we've started to see that trend shift. If that persists, we very quickly could make a bullish case for the S&P 500, but I'm not there yet. And I, trust me, would love to be, but I don't fight my system. I don't fight my strategy. I don't fight my system. The EDGEFINDER is what I use primarily to make my trading decisions. Do I always do what the EDGEFINDER is saying? No, because even though, like, for example, the S&P 500 is getting a very bearish reading, I don't want to short this chart, right? Yes, inflationary pressures are still real, but we have numbers coming out tomorrow. I also don't want to short it because look what happened here. I would have expected a quicker response to this area of past resistance, but we're not getting that, right? So that, to me, price action wise, does not agree with it currently. So I don't like the short. So just because the EDGEFINDER has a bullish or bearish reading does not guarantee, oh, I'm going to sell this thing right now. It just means that the indications that we have, metrics, COT data, inflationary statistics, the labor market, when considering the factors we have, this is pointing bearish, but I've still got to see the technical analysis line up. I don't throw charts and price action out the window just because I'm using the EDGEFINDER. The EDGEFINDER is a complementary tool to that price action trading that I do. Okay. Someone said, Shane said, how about those Braves? Yes, sir, Shane. We that's how we do it here in Atlanta. Yeah. Yeah. Also, good point. Sketchy L says FOMC meeting minutes later as well. Yep, we've got meeting minutes, which could also be pretty big as well. What's the difference between S&P 500 and US 500? Yeah, there's no difference. The same thing. Same thing. I mean, the S&P 500 has many different names, just different markets that it's traded on. So SPX 500 is the same thing pretty much as SPY, the ETF. SPY is the same as VOO, which is another Vanguard ETF. The S&P 500 could also be called the ES, right, on the futures market. It has many names, but it's the same thing. It's the S&P 500. So does the EDGEFINDER work on Bitcoin? Antonio, yes, it does. We do have Bitcoin readings. I think it's the scanner is under development. We've been updating all of our scanner pages to be more inclusive, but we do have Bitcoin in the EDGEFINDER. It is like, for example, we could go take a look at the smart money tracker and you've got Bitcoin on here. Here it is. So Bitcoin right now, pretty 50-50 in terms of institutional positioning. So, the EDGEFINDER does take a look at Bitcoin. Thank you for the answer. No problem. No problem. Would it be safe to short EURUSD? There's no safety in markets ever. There's no safety ever in markets. There's always risk. Just depends how much risk you want to take. I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but it is a dangerous way of thinking to ever think like, okay, we're in the green light to short the market or buy this market. And there's no, at any point that any person ever on social media, the most professional traders on earth, does not matter who says it. If somebody says to you that there's like 100% certainty of something happening in the markets, don't listen to that person anymore. There's never a guarantee. And that's why even the best traders in the world, they're wrong. Frequently, the markets are pretty unpredictable in their very nature. So is the euro at this level possibly looking bearish? I would say so. Especially if you're a dollar bull, you had some nice inflationary numbers here this morning to point towards more dollar bullishness. Dollar bulls would say that this was a big win today with core and headline producer price indexes showing inflationary pressures persisting. So yeah. So I would just be, yeah. Euro dollar, like I said, sitting at resistance. I don't hate that short idea, to be completely honest. I think that might actually be a decent setup. I would just be probably, for me, it would be if I was going to take that trade, which I don't hate it, by the way. I really do actually like this idea. You've got a nice downward trend. My idea, however, would be if that breaks through the structure highs, I've got to get out of there because likely what's happened is inflationary numbers have cooled. Is the EDGEFINDER an app or website or software? So it's a software tool that is browser based. So when you get a copy of the EDGEFINDER, it's so easy. All you have to do, I've got it bookmarked. So EDGEFINDER users know this already. And if you don't, this is a life hack for you. When you purchase the EDGEFINDER, all you have to do to access it is you just click a link. But what I've done is I've just bookmarked the link. So A1 EDGEFINDER Pro. Now, even if you have this link, it won't matter. You have to be granted access with a purchase license. But once you purchase it, it's so easy. You click this button, and that's how I access it every day. So it's really simple. It takes 2 seconds to click the link, and then you're in the EDGEFINDER. And again, the luxury of having this tool is that we are doing all of the work behind the scenes for you to basically have market data. That is the beauty of the software. That is a service that my company provides. We build an amazing product for traders that grants them access to tons of amazing resources and tools in the market. We also, we do the data collection phase, the curating of the data. We built the UI for you guys. I mean, it's a tool that I only wish that I had it years and years ago. And I genuinely mean that. I mean, this is our dream project. So when I say that, obviously we're very invested in making it really good. It's something I use every single day for my trading. And I want people who do have copies or who are considering getting copies to know that it's something that we use every day. We genuinely are building this tool. We have our own, not just, of course, that we're trying to sell it, but also that we genuinely use the software to trade. I mean, I put, my hard-earned money, Frank puts his hard-earned money into ideas and things that we collect from the EDGEFINDER. So yeah. What do you want to include in the EDGEFINDER in the future? Good question. We've got some secret updates coming, so please stay tuned. We have a lot of fun on the EDGEFINDER development side, where when we have new features, we try and make them fun when they get dropped, because we work so hard on them. We got to have fun when we release them to the public. So we try and keep it a little lock and key until it's ready. It's kind of like if you've ever had like a favorite video game or something. Usually video game companies work for like a year straight on a new DLC or I don't know, like additional features. And when they release them, it's a really exciting announcement, and it's all kept secret for a reason. It's to be more exciting, and because so much work goes into it. And yeah, so we got cool features coming. Do you get access to the VIP Discord as well? No, but we do have like package deals that we do. So if you would like access, the best way to find out about that, by the way, Saint, and anybody else who's interested in both, if you message us, again, this is why I've got a couple people on my staff who are very familiar with our products. They can train you on stuff. They can answer questions. If you message us, someone from our staff will hook you up with a copy of the EDGEFINDER, and you can actually bundle all of your stuff there. So if you would like to like get access to the Discord or whatever, we give like huge discounts to stream viewers, and we also allow people who want to get both to get access for lower prices. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. When would you be bullish for EURUSD from the point of view of technical analysis? Good question. Good question, but you might not like my answer. I don't get bullish on something based on technicals. I don't get bearish on something based on technicals. I get bullish on something based on fundamentals and sentiment in the market, and I use technicals to enter and exit. Okay. So I think what most traders do is they look at a chart and they say, okay, let me decipher which direction from the technicals, and then I'm gonna enter. And I understand that you can do a lot of great stuff with technical analysis. Don't get me wrong, but direction in the market comes from the drivers of the market. The drivers of the market are fundamental factors. And as much as I think people want to get away from that reality, like they don't want that to be true, it is true. The market is driven by fundamentals. That is what drives it. Interest rates, inflation, labor market statistics, geopolitical events. That's what moves the market around. That's why when you have big news events, the market moves. Think about it. Have you ever wondered, why does news spikes cause so much volatility? It's because that's the stuff that matters. And all the professional hedge fund managers of the world, they do, some of them use technical analysis, but a vast majority of them employ fundamental research and macro stuff in their trading. So we as traders, if we want to be like the pros, if you ever ask yourself, well, how can I be more like a pro? Fundamentals. That's just the answer. Fundamentals are what institutional traders on a large scale use. So people are going to be probably curious, why is this euro pushed all the way back up? Why is the dollar index all the way back down following hotter than expected PPI numbers? And here's your answer. The answer is because CPI is tomorrow. The big statistic that is really going to be market moving. I mean, I called this before we watched the news, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because I didn't take any trades off it. I'm just saying, oftentimes when you get a big news report that precedes another bigger news report, oftentimes the reaction from the market is a spike and then a spike that pulls back, right? So we have core PPI, and tomorrow we have the big one. We have CPI and unemployment claims, okay? So tomorrow's news is bigger. So it's probably pretty reasonable to think a lot of people who may have just been in profit or wanted to take that as an opportunity to exit some trades, they may have done so, right? Because they know a big question mark is coming tomorrow morning. Okay. Yeah. Nick, how long have you been trading overall? You're so knowledge. Thank you very much. I appreciate your compliment, and I do hope that anybody who is newer to this stuff is being helped by this content. If you are being helped, if this is helpful to you in any way, help us out on the channel as we try and continue to grow the word about our show here. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button if you're watching live with us, and you hit the thumbs up button. It helps to get more people watching the stream. How long have I been trading? About 8 years. And it's been 8 years every single day. So please understand that when you tune into the stream, if you're like a couple months into your trading journey, please don't be discouraged by the, when we have guests on that are very knowledgeable, or if you hear me saying something that's a little bit confusing to you, don't worry. This stuff takes time. And if you accept that just like a 4-year degree, you're not going to learn everything on the first month, it's okay. It's going to be fine. I just stick around. The streams are free. Stick around, learn something from myself and from our guests. And again, totally free game here to try and improve your trading. And again, I'm trying to encourage people to consider the fundamentals more. They're less popular than the technicals. Everybody wants to look at chart patterns, but fundamentals are really important too. US 30 still bucking up against this level of resistance. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ making a bit of a recovery move here this morning, despite PPI numbers initially knocking down the price. The big question for technicals on the NASDAQ, as I mentioned, is you've got this big shelf looking left. If we can break through that level, things get interesting, because I would love, and I've been very transparent and vocal about this, I would love to get in cooling inflation numbers, because it might tip the scale. As I mentioned earlier with my wishful thinking, I won't be long the indices on a momentum short-term basis until we get those flips. I've been doing some counter trend momentum. Some options counter trend style trading recently, which has gone very well in the indices. I've been basically bullish on the Dow. So that's been going really well. So that's been really where I've had a nice recovery week. We went long dollar yen. That one was a slight profit. And then really it's been the indices and the options trades that I've been doing that have been going quite well. I'll show you guys that real quick. So options trades, I share, by the way, inside of the group, I share pretty much all the trading that I'm doing. If I'm any type of trading that I'm doing, I'm sharing it inside of the Discord channel. So for example, yesterday was a big day as a lot of the indices trades that I'm in, you can see DIA, that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? The US 30. I mentioned this earlier. Remember, symbols can have different names, but they can represent the same thing. Like DIA is just an ETF that tracks the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is the US 30. DJX. There's many names for the same thing. But I trade because of my US citizenship. There's a lot of limitations on things that I can and can't trade. I cannot trade CFDs on regulated brokers like NAS100, SPX 500. I can't place trades on those on a regulated US broker. So I trade ETFs instead. So yeah, again, PPI numbers, again, we react to those numbers. They were hotter than expected, and possibly, with the Fed meeting and the CPI numbers, the market has kind of dialed it back despite these cooler numbers. So we saw the dollar pop and then give back some of its gains pretty quick. Silver, gold, both up here today. I mentioned I might be interested in a bearish stab here at the gold price around 1880. We'll see how that one goes. I'm going to bring Frank in here in just a moment to react to these numbers. Give me just 1 second, guys. We'll thank our sponsors here with a quick break, and we're going to come back to Frank, who is my co-trader. If you haven't met Frank before, then you're not missing much. I'm just kidding. He's a close friend of mine and a long-term trading partner of myself. Friend first, though. We like grew up together. So stick around. You meet my boyfriend. Just kidding. My friend Frank in just a second, right after this.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the EDGEFINDER or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now, back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, and we are back with Frank. Hey, Frank, what's going on?
Hey, that was quite the introduction.
I gotta shake it up now here and there. You're on the show every day. I feel like you need. It's kind of like the WWE when they like walk out the next big wrestler. You gotta shake it up each time, otherwise it starts getting stale. Frank, PPI numbers came out hotter than expected. What do you think?
All I can say is So hotter than expected, lower than last time. So I don't know. That just looks mixed to me. I have on my screen the just the chart of the PPI over past several months, and this one came in lower, but it was, oh, my bad, sharing the wrong screen, but higher than expected. The expectations were lower than even last month, despite the huge spike that we saw in PPI. The expectations came in lower. But what I see is the end result is a decline. So I don't know. It's something to consider, I guess. It's definitely mixed. CPI is going to be important as well. I don't know, but according to this, I guess maybe CPI will come in the same manner, just not as much as expected, or higher than expected, but not as much as last time. But we'll see. The market, hasn't really reacted too heavily to this. Gold is still up on this 4-hour candle, still in the S&P trade. It took an initial dip, but is now, slightly recovering.
Frank, show us your S&P 500 chart. So you're long still. Are you trailing a stop on that one? So for those of you guys who weren't here yesterday, Frank joined the S&P 500 bull train here, and you've caught a really good move so far.
Yeah, I got it last Friday, so I've just been trailing and being pretty, I guess, aggressive with my stop loss. Like I've been keeping it far away from price, hoping that if we see any sort of dip, it'll kind of recover from there. And so far it's been working out. I think I might trail a little more just to underneath this low here from last night from the 43.50s. But yeah, just gonna see where this trade goes. I don't really expect too much upside, I guess. We'll just have to see what CPI does. But we saw stronger NFP, higher than expected, higher than expected PPI. So all I can, I guess, speculate is that if it does continue to go up, it'll probably hit this trend line. Might be another short setup, but we'll see. I like the initial sort of rejection off these lows, and then this strong bearish candle on the day. So yeah, just trailing right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think you've got a really good move there, and if that inflationary number comes out even slightly cooler than what is expected, I think you may have a mad dash up to at least that trend line that you've got going down there, and it's a really good trade. I like the indices on the long side. I mentioned, Frank, earlier. I was given my bull case for if we get inflationary numbers that are cool somehow tomorrow, cooler than expected in any way. That combined with the trend filter on the EDGEFINDER flipping bullish, as well as possibly retail sentiment shifting as well, that might tick us into more of a bullish camp. So I'm really, fingers crossed for a cooling inflationary number, but I'm not going to jump to conclusions just yet. I also just wanted to point out on my chart here, as you can see, that level of resistance that we thought might give us some trouble, it did. You mentioned it earlier, the market started giving back some of those gains and you had your trail and stop in place, but you didn't get trailed out. Market has recovered that. But that to me seems like, yes, there was a bit of a reaction to this level of resistance, but now price is just trudging higher. And again, probably looking forward to that CPI number. I also made this point earlier, Frank, but I'll say it again now that you're here. I think that the PPI number is impactful and meaningful to like dollar strength. It was initially a nice dollar pop as one would expect. I think it gave back those gains though, likely because the market is looking right around the corner to a Fed meeting later today and CPI tomorrow. So I think that, you got a little bit of a reaction, but it's back down because again, anticipation for the next move. So I don't know. That's my speculation as to why it didn't persist.
Yeah, and the dollar still has that level that it won't break underneath, and there's not really a whole lot of confirmation yet.
Mhm.
So these trades that I'm in S&P and UJ. Right now, I don't have the entry or stop drawn in, but I am currently down. I'm hovering in some drawdown right now on this weekly candle. But I was looking at sort of this uptrend in the past several weeks, hitting this sort of resistance zone, which is just a previous high in the 150s, 151. And then this particular weekly candle just suggested to me that there was some buyer exhaustion, and the yields have been, they've been weaker. They went under 5%. So just speculating, you talked about the shift in trend. The EDGEFINDER still has indices not very bullish. I think they're still in the bearish camp. And then UJ's ultra bullish, but there was a shift in this sort of trend reading and sentiment that I think maybe if I can catch this early, we can ride UJ down maybe to the lows here in like the 147 or 145 range. So still chugging along in this trade, but nothing's really happened so far. But that's just my idea on UJ. It could definitely pull all the way back up and stop me out. But I like this setup here on the weekly, because it could set up for a long-term sort of trend to the downside if it does continue, but we'll just have to see.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, thanks for sharing, Frank, and thanks for joining on the stream. We'll probably call it good there, and we'll have you back on, of course, tomorrow for CPI, which should be pretty market moving. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, thanks.
See you, Frank. All right, guys. We're sitting at about 9 o'clock. So we had PPI numbers come out. Just a heads up for you guys to also keep an eye on for your own trading. Markets are likely to get volatile again around 2 p.m. with the meeting minutes that are coming out. This, of course, will give you an inside. This basically, it's like a dialogue script of the meeting that the Fed had behind closed doors, and it can be very market moving depending on what is said. Sometimes market moving, sometimes not. It just depends what is kind of discussed. If there's something new to the market that is shocking, you could get a very market moving event. And then otherwise, you might get a completely sideways, nothing happens moment. Also, guys, I did mention this earlier, but if you guys would like access to the EDGEFINDER for a discounted stream discount, you can send us a direct message on our website right now. We've got a link in the chat. Click this link. And if you're watching back at a later point, you can also click the link that's in the description as well to this live stream. And again, if you message us, you'll be connected with someone on our staff who can hook you up with a discount on the software, give you more information, give you different pricing details and options, and we can make it happen for you. If you'd like a copy of our software, again, Frank and I are the developers. We have one other gentleman who helps us as well, and we have a staff of people who are trained to get traders set up with our tools to better their trading. If you're not using it already, trust me, it is a game changer to have this much data and this much structure to your trading. If you're only looking at charts, I genuinely mean this. I don't think there will ever be a day where I'm just pulling up a chart and trading ever again, because what I used to do before I had the EDGEFINDER is I would just read articles for like hours and then try and make a decision based on the charts. With the EDGEFINDER, I have all that data pulled that I need in one spot, in one software tool. I can click through things, find setups, find ideas, and then just go pull up the charts and make a decision there. It's the easiest way to trade ever for me compared in all my time trading. I spend the least amount of time trading now than ever. And that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be spending more and more time over the years trading. It should be less and less time trading over the years, because again, your strategy should be simplified enough that it actually doesn't require to sit there all day doing it. So again, if you guys want access to the EDGEFINDER, click the link, message us. Pricing details can be found there. We can hook you up with the right fit for you. And you can also join free Telegram channel as well. That's the last thing I will say. And then we'll wrap up the stream. We'll drop the free Telegram in the chat as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And we'll see you back tomorrow for CPI. See ya.
And that concludes today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to give you the latest market coverage through our daily videos and articles. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe for more. Be sure to join our Telegram, where we host trading competitions, share free market analysis with trade setups, and have exclusive discounts to our products. Our Telegram is free to join. The link is in the description. See you all next time.